Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Takavi, your instructor for the course of Organizational Theory and Behavior, ORG 4451, for the next 8 weeks. I'm so happy that I will be with you in the Montevideo campus, and we will meet each other in the real world and in the physical class, not only in the online classes. You can check my resume in the Moodle. I have a PhD of health psychology, and my proficiency is the major part on the field of positive psychology. That positive psychology cover a great part of behaviors, a great part of concepts and ideas also in the organizations, also in leadership. We have some rigid academic research about the positive leadership and positive organization and other things. So in the next 8 weeks, we will talk about the organizational behavior and organizational theory and the theories about the organizational behavior and theories about the behavior, how behavior shape and how organization react to the other organization's behavior, react to the the elements internal of the organization, for example, different levels of management, different levels of employees, and other things that finally shaping a very good concept, a very deep and good concept about organizational behavior as a part of, as a transdisciplinary part of management science, organizational science, industrial science, engineering, and basically as the mother of every aspect of behavior psychology. As you know, a large part of psychology is studying behavior, and behaviorism in psychology is the one of four major basic parts and major basic forces in psychology. So in this course, our discussion, our presentation, our topics will categorize in four major topics. One, managerial context of organizational behavior. Two, individual processes involved in organization and involved in organizational behaviors. Three, interpersonal aspects of organizational behavior. And four, macro and system-wide aspects of organizational behavior. So you can see during these 8 weeks, we will look at the organizational behavior from different point of views. For example, person in an organization as an individual person, not as a social person, not as an employee, not as a co-worker, as a person with his or her own life, with his or her own anxieties and other things. And also about the managers, and also about the managerial level and managerial order and managerial decisions on the organization as a whole, as a total integrated components that works together to gain a shared meaning, a shared goal. So it is managerial context of organizational behavior. And other parts, the interaction between these elements, between these parts of an organization, managerial part, individual part, interpersonal part, intrapersonal part, inner world of a person. It is interpersonal aspects, and finally, out of the organization. It is macro aspects or system-wide aspect, how the organization and its employee, its manager, its personnel, will have some interactions with the other of the organization, with the world out of the organization that are related to the organization, the economic part, political part, and other parts, and also market as a major part of the outer organization, part related to an organization. In the discussion about the managerial context of organizational behavior, we will talk about the overview of our organizational behavior. What is behavior? What is organization? What is organizational behavior? Studying about the behavior, apart from the organizational part, it is absolutely a psychological analysis, because behavior is one of the three major elements that we will discuss and we have discussed in psychology. It is about thought, emotions, feelings, and behaviors, actions. These are there are three parts, major parts of psychological study from the beginning of the establishment of psychological science at the end of the 19th century. In the changing environment of organization, why we talk about the changing environment and organization under categorized a managerial context, because the leader, the manager of these changes is the management, and the managerial context in the back vocal, in the background of a manager, culture base of a manager is very important to manage the environment of organization. Also, in the second part, we will talk about individual processes, foundation of individual behavior. It is absolutely psychological analysis, psychological studying, and motivation. Motivation, honestly, at the first is the psychological phrase that we use for direction and force. When you have motivation, you have direction for gaining something, and you have some inner force, some pressure, some motivation about gaining that. So direction and force, direction and power to gain something is the major elements of motivation. But as a whole, as a lot of people work together as a system, as an organization, and an industry, as a market to gain something, it is motivation or motivational organizations or organizational motivations sometimes. Motivational organizations, and it's about um, from an objective perspective point of view, honestly, it is about the persons, about the employees, about the staff, about the manager, about the individual persons, that how they want and why they want and when and where, and finally at the which deadline they want as person and individuals to achieve in the organizational goals. So it is the employee performance. What are you looking at an organization? You are looking at the performances of the employees, of the personnel, of the manager, and of the other parts of an organization. So for example, in coaching, we are talking about the high performance coaching, top performance coaching. Performance is some part of the behavior that you can measure, observe, and also it is monitored by the employee, by somebody who has performance. It is outside and inside. Outside by the observer, inside by the self-observation. And managing stress and work-life balance are one of the major problems in today's psychological part, organizational part, work part is work and life balance. But work and life balance is a major topic in studying and researching for psychologists, for industrial psychologists, organizational psychologists, managers, business scientists, and other parts of academy, and in the real world out of the academy. It is a practice-based research about the life and work balance. And decision making and problem solving, you know that for success at first, you need three skills. You need to be a master in three skills. One, it is goal setting. Two, decision making. And three, problem solving. And in this part, as an individual process involved with the organizational behavior, we will talk about the decision making and problem solving. The other parts is interpersonal aspects of organizational behavior, foundation of interpersonal and group behavior. We have the word of group dynamic, group force, group forces undergrounding a group that people come together and affect together in different ways. Sometimes it is hidden, it is not objective, sometimes it is subjective. And using team in organization, we have group, and after that team, and after that department, and after that organization. So in this hierarchy of gathering together, using team in organization, communicating in organization, this is very, very important. One of the major 10 life skills that WHO, World Health Organization, has established as the life skills. One of them is interactive communication and effective communication, interpersonal communication, and effective communication. So communicating in organization, verbal and non-verbal, with the formal leader, with the non-formal leaders, is very, very important. And traditional models for understanding leadership, it's a favorite topic for me. contemporary view of leadership and organization, power, politics, organization, justice, and conflict and negotiation management, and conflict management and negotiation processes. Very, very, very shortly, we will talk about it because in master degree of MBA, you have a professional course and single course about the negotiation processes and conflict management. And finally, macro and system-wide aspects. We talk about the foundation of organizational structure, organization design, organization culture, organization change and development. Organization is a live body. Organization is a live being. You may install and make an organization as a pioneer, as the builder, as the owner. But after building, after owning, after making an organization, the organization has its way, its own way as a live being because the component of the organization are human beings and human beings are live beings. Gathering and group and team and other parts of the organization basically uh, are combined with the human beings and the live beings. So organization design and organization culture is very important, especially when you have cross-cultural conflict between the countries, between the managerial styles for managing organizations. So it is very important to know about the organization culture, in which country, in which culture, in which managerial style the organization is working and growing and developing and other things. Pay attention that in this course, organizational behavior, theory and behavior, like the other course, we have four major parts. Chapter PowerPoint. You should study chapter PowerPoint. I highly recommend that study chapter PowerPoint before gaining the class in the campus. And after ending the teaching instruction in the class, for the last 15 minutes of the class, you will take the weekly quiz and learning engagement before class and after class from the early time of morning, so Monday morning until the midnight of the next Saturday. You have 1 week time to have a learning engagement, but please pay attention that your first post to learning engagement must be until the midnight of Wednesday. After midnight of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I will not accept your first post. No grade. Why? Because it is not engagement. It is assignment only. You should pass your first engagement, your first learning engagement post until the end of the Wednesday. I know that your class, the real class, is Wednesday. I know. But you should understand that you should study the PowerPoints and the concept and the component of the class before joining the class, before attending the class. And after that, you will have some learning engagement and other students, and also me, we will have time to interact, to engage with you, to answer and analyze your post and say our point of view about that post. So your first post for learning engagement should be until the midnight of Wednesday. After that, no grade for any post after midnight of Wednesday. But reply, yes, I will be waiting for reply to the post and other things. And weekly assignment, you should do it. And we have midterm and final term exam and other parts of the grading your quiz. I will be so happy to meet you Wednesdays in the class. And that's it. Have a good semester. Bye.